I loved the movies as a child. So it was me actually who used to watch all their films and Amma's films, and then of course my siblings when they joined the films. And my brother used to tease me because he studied abroad in London, and so did my sister later. So I joked by saying they were the British in the family. They did not join the Indian film fraternity till much later. So I was quite desi in those ways.
I mean, are you religious as a person, and did you growing up sort of go to the temple and the mosque, masjid, or where was your usual
No, I think more than religion. But to be spiritual, I connect with Islam. So it's kind of one and the same. So for me, I would say my religion is Islam. When Amma and Abba got married, my mother in fact did convert to Islam and did guide us in Islam to perhaps not confuse us and to give us some sort of grounding. So there was no temple. There was no Hindu religion that we practiced. In fact, she taught me my faith and, gave me an understanding of Islam and,
So tell me, what's the most valuable life lesson that your mother gave you?
Like Amma used to always say, she said, take the best from both of us. So she, in an interview during Gulmohar, one of her films, she has mentioned that Saif is a lot like me and Soha is a lot like Tiger. But Saba, I think somebody asks her, like, what am I like? And she pauses and smiles. And she says she's, kind of a bit like the two of us, like the both of us.
What does being part of the Pataudi family look like?
I don't think any Nawabs and anything, it doesn't exist today. But it's nice when people do realize that, yes, there is a Khandani legacy. And, they respect us from having the history that Abba created or comes from, rather. But no, I think it's all very quite modern and chill right now.
Some people are born into history, some create it, and a rare few quietly preserve it while carrying a path which is entirely their own. My guest today comes from a family that has shaped Indian cinema, sport, and culture for generations. She is a daughter of the legendary Sharmila Tagore and the late Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, sister to Saif Ali Khan and Soha Ali Khan, but she's also someone who chose a different spotlight and path of her own. As jewelry designer, custodian of a remarkable legacy, and someone who has always let her words speak louder than the headlines, she has remained one of the most graceful and intriguing members of the Pataudi family. Today, we're getting to know the woman behind the name, the stories, the choices, the family, and the legacy. Please join me in welcoming our guest today on Real Time with Big Bollywood Buffs, Saba Ali Khan Pataudi.
Hi, Mohit.
Hi,
that was
Saba.
a beautiful introduction. Thank you for that.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Coping with the London heat.
Yeah.
Other than that, great.
Welcome to London. And we're so glad and honored to be doing this podcast with you today because we know this is not something you usually tend to do. But like I said, thank you for being here
I'm
today.
delighted to be here and thank you for asking me to join you. And yes, I don't do these very often.
Yeah.
But sometimes there is timing for, things to change. And I think that this is a new avenue that I'm going to explore. And I have had a lot of people approach me and I don't, normally, I haven't actually had a chance to do it yet. So I'm very honored and excited to, in fact, be on your podcast today.
Thank you. So, okay, let's dive right into it. I mean, you come from one of India's most recognizable families, the Pataudis and the Tagores, but you've always maintained relatively private life. So you've chosen not to be in the spotlight. So can I ask you, who is Saba Ali Khan beyond the family name? And is there any sort of common misconception about you that you think might be there?
I'm not sure about which misconception that you might be talking about. But I am a very quiet person, and my father also has said in an interview that I am a very private person.
Yeah.
But I loved the movies as a child. So it was me actually who used to watch all their films and Amma's films, and then of course my siblings when they joined the films. And my brother used to tease me because he studied abroad in London.
Yeah.
And so did my sister later. So I joke by saying they were the British in the family. They did not join the Indian film fraternity till much later. So I was quite desi in those ways.
Okay.
You know, I liked my dal chawal and I liked seeing the Hindi movies.
Yeah.
So he would pull my leg about it. But look at the irony today. It's the bread and butter that they both, you know, earn their living from. But I'm so proud of them because that's what they wanted to be. And that's what they inspired, or rather, you know, kind of enjoyed being in front of the camera. And I'm somebody who, in fact, is very passionate about photography. And I'm actually also, I'm complimenting myself, but very good at it.
Yeah.
So I like being behind the camera. So it's not something that I chose to deliberately avoid, but it's not something that I was very comfortable with. I was very shy as a child. So I have given a lot of interviews, and of course because of the family, you know, being present. But yeah, so I enjoy kind of having a low-keyed life, but very happy to be, you know, a part of an event or film fair, and I love participating in the audience of all these.
Yeah, no,
things
but what
that
I mean
happen.
is, of course, you just clarified that for our viewers, but you never had aspirations to become an actress.
Not really, but
Yeah.
I did dab in theatre and I did enjoy it. And so I can't say that if I had given an opportunity, I may or may not have, denied doing it.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of friends who very kindly said, come on, you could have, you know, you didn't have to have the main role, but you could have done the film. And, you know, you have the aptitude, or at least they seem to have thought I did.
Yeah.
But I guess I never got that opportunity, so I never tried it.
Okay.
But you never know.
For sure, you never know.
Like Ridhima has joined the films now, so
Yes,
you never
yes.
know who gets a chance.
I've
when-
interviewed her a couple of times, and she's lovely. And I watched her movie Dadi Ki Shadi, and I thought her
Right.
performance was really heartfelt.
Nice.
So yeah, growing up as the daughter of two legends, so Sharmila Tagore, of course, Indian cinema, Bengali cinema as well, and then Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, who was your late father, of course, such a huge cricket legend. Now, did you ever feel that there was some sort of like weight or expectations from you? Or did your parents always create a very warm environment where you could sort of discover your own identity?
More the latter.
Yeah.
They gave us a lot of freedom, but like I said on Barkha's show as well,
Yeah.
with rules. So there were strict rules. There was bedtime and dinner time
Okay.
and punctuality. Like we joked earlier right now,
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock British time, not Indian
That's
Standard
why
Time.
you're
I'm
so
not seeing you
punctual.
at 5:30, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but they gave us a lot of freedom and support, encouraged us to find our own dreams and be
Yeah.
passionate. But yes, Abba was always very particular that I'm giving you an education
Yeah.
and, you know, you're going to make it work.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, it wasn't like an Indian family where, you know, sometimes they're given the cell phone or you're given this huge amount of pocket money.
Okay.
Not at all. We were given a pocket money that
Yeah.
we had to keep in check, spend within that, buy our own phones when we could afford it.
Yeah.
So there was, we had that liberty, but we were brought up, I'm very proud of the fact that we were not restrained is the wrong word, but
Yeah.
given discipline
Yeah.
as children. So we weren't spoiled
Okay.
and we weren't allowed, you know, to just go to a party at any age.
Yeah.
There was, everything had to happen in a very precise and
For sure.
proper manner. Like
And,
very proper and fair would be the
Yeah.
way I would describe.
And also, I believe the times were different when you were growing up, because nowadays, due to digital and social media, you know, teenagers have sort of a lot more freedom.
Access to too much.
Yeah. So in a
Yeah.
way, it's good that
We played in parks and
Yeah.
jumped off swings and,
yeah,
you know, we were encouraged to,
to actually
do things
enjoy
like that.
outdoors,
Yes.
outdoor activities, which
you know,
is
we
great.
didn't have access to, I mean, iPads and Apple
Yeah.
phones were not
Yeah.
the norm then
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But today everyone's so dependent
Yeah.
on the
Technology.
technology and digital, you know, stuff that when I go to a store and if the systems are not working or somebody doesn't have
Yeah.
a phone, they don't know what to do.
They
and
panic.
what amuses me the most, unfortunately, is how everyone is so dependent on the direction in, you know, when you sit in a cab or when you're looking at
Google
the
Maps.
Google map to get somewhere. And I'm like, if you've done that route every day, why are you checking the map? But
Yeah.
of course, I understand when they say to see which is the closest,
Yeah,
you know, in
yeah.
case there's traffic. So I kind of understand that, okay, that could be elements that you want to check, but you're still going to take the same road sometimes. They're not going to go any differently.
Yeah.
But yet everyone just starts typing in the location, and I'm
That's
like,
true.
what if you didn't have the phone right now?
I feel like before people used
So the
to ask for
dependency is a
directions.
bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they probably don't ask, people don't ask for directions as much.
No.
They just check their phone. But tell me, your family represents cricket, cinema, royalty as well, as we know, and a lot of Indian heritage and culture. So which part of that legacy do you feel the most connected to?
I think the Tagore family has a lot of art and culture, and I'm very artistic.
Yeah.
And so not so much of a sports person. Like, my father would have been highly disappointed if I tried to play cricket.
Okay.
And whenever I'd watch the IPL with him, which we loved doing together, he would always test me on positions on the field and terminology for cricket. And I'd say, Abba, I'm just enjoying the game. He said, no, you should know your stuff.
Yeah.
You need to know cricket. And I'm like, shucks, I'm going to have to pass an exam. But I get his point. He's like, if you like something, you should know about it.
Sure.
But I am an artist by nature. And so I would say the artistic side of my mother's family and the Bengali part of her.
Yeah.
And the fact that I love lal doi, which is a typical Bengali sweet dish, as you know. So a lot of me relates to that part of the family.
So, well, you mentioned you have a sweet tooth, but going back to what you just mentioned about, having some sort of knowledge about cricket, because of course your father was such a great legend in sports. Your mother, I recently watched an interview of hers, Sharmila Aziz, and she said that even she didn't have much idea of cricket, but she had to learn about it, right? And so she would kind of be hesitant to pass any comments on a match or anything that was cricket related, right? So she kind of had to learn.
We all, I think Abba would have expected us to know the terms and know, what we were watching. But sometimes you just enjoy it without, getting into the technical aspect of something. But he was always very proper and very correct, which is what I imbibe from him. And which is why I find that, it is important to be particular, respect somebody's time and space. And that's what it shows. You cannot just assume that, things will happen, just anyhow on your terms.
Yeah.
So I liked knowing that that's what he was very particular about.
Yeah. So you're very artistic as a person. You also do jewelry design, right?
Yes.
Is that something you're very passionate about?
I am. I did my graduation in Delhi College of Art, which was advertising.
Yeah.
And much that I'm a painter at heart. They would joke and say you're in the wrong department because there was painting, sculpture, and applied arts. So I chose applied arts because I thought, okay, it'll help me get a career later. So I really enjoyed that. And then I wanted to go out for my post-graduation, which my siblings had already done.
Yeah.
So it was kind of owed to me in a way, or like, I pushed to get that experience.
Yeah.
And the only course available, which was not going to make me do my, the pre-masters again, the pre-graduation, was jewelry in GIA in Carlsbad. And I thought, why not? I'm still creative. I couldn't have done anything else. What I didn't expect is when I went there, it wasn't just about the location, which was California.
Yeah.
I loved the course. And I had a brilliant diamond instructor. And then we do gemology. So I did that. And then design. So I combined it with learning about the stones and then designing them.
Okay.
So in fact, I came back more of a gemologist who understood the stones and was confident of that rather than design. Then I worked with somebody in Oberoi, Manojji, who was very encouraging, and he was like, let's just design, these stones are just lying here, why don't you create something from them? And my pieces started selling. So people came and demanded, like they said, you got a new designer on board. So that's when I got the confidence to kind of start doing jewelry independently. And I've never looked back. So that's how the career started.
So you do it independently, but do you have any plans to perhaps open up a store?
I would have hoped to. I kind of just work on exhibitions.
Yeah.
But there's been a bit of an unfortunate sabbatical after COVID and things that, one didn't really get back to doing jewelry. But I do tarot reading as well. I'm very spiritual. And it helps to guide people. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes Islamic people will say it's un-Islamic, so
Yeah.
I'm saying that officially on camera. But it's when you're gifted with intuition and the
Yeah.
ability to heal, and everyone at that time was coping with something
Yeah.
which was either detrimental to their health or, decisions needed to be made. And it was just something that I felt was my, calling
Yeah.
to guide and help people.
Yeah.
And so I did it. It's not taken me away from my faith at all.
Which
So
is,
that's
I mean,
something.
your religion.
Yes.
You're Muslim.
Like, it's not going to, I think, turn
Yeah.
me away from my God if I help somebody,
Sure.
do a reading. And my readings are also not predictive as
Yeah.
much as it's guidance.
Okay.
So it's like going to a shrink and having a conversation and saying, what do I do with my life? And
Sure.
these are my options. And I can guide them through my cards and with my intuition. And a lot of people were happy with the results. So they felt comfortable
Okay.
after, having spoken to me about it.
And how did you
that's what
train
happened.
yourself to do tarot card reading? Did you work with someone?
No, I
initially?
didn't. I was
Okay.
always wanting to get into it. And then I think, like I say, I believe in divine timing.
Okay.
So it just came to me one day and I said, okay, I think I'm ready. And I just was. I think I just pulled out the cards, read up about it. And a lot of tarot reading is about your own intuition.
Yeah.
It's not something that a lot of people, you can't train yourself to do tarot reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can learn the art of it, yes. But it kind of, you have to connect with it somewhere. I don't think everybody's a good tarot reading. It's like
Yeah.
astrology.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Pandit will give you something and you're like, that didn't happen
Which
for
may
me
not
yet.
be true. Yeah.
No. So, sometimes it's something that you need to understand. I feel.
But whoever sort of cards you've read, I mean, you mainly, I suppose, do it for family and friends.
And friends. And then I've had pandemic, I actually reached out to a lot of people. I did it professionally.
Oh, okay.
So I have a professional card.
I guess I should get my cards read by you at some
Absolutely.
point, to see what's happening in
Then
my
I do
future.
angel cards and I do
Yeah.
numerology also, just as a
Interesting.
guidance tool.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how when you're connected and aware of the universe,
Yeah.
there are messages that you will be given at any point when you're asking. So if you ask with a true heart, it will come to you.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Like, I'll tell you something ridiculously silly, but like, I love London because my father stayed here
Sure.
and I can sense him here. And I've been asked by quite a few people recently that, what is it about London? I said, it's my happy place.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is there to ask? And then on the pavement, there's somebody who's been making chalk scribbles all over London and different messages at different times. So today there was one saying, London has stolen my heart,
Yeah.
or something like that. I've just posted it on my Insta. And I said, I just smiled. I said, yeah, it has. So these things just reach out to you.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily manifest them, like, which is a word as well that you might use. But I feel I'm guided. So they're guardian
So
angels all
sometimes you
around.
see messages that you feel
I just connect to.
it's like a sign from the universe, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. And tell me, growing up in an interfaith household, how did that feel like? Did you ever feel like, okay, I should maybe, I mean, are you religious as a person? And did you growing up sort of go to the temple and the mosque, masjid, or where was your usual
No,
like
so
prayer?
I'll answer that for you.
Yeah.
I am very religious, but I'm very spiritual,
Okay.
I think, more than religion. But to be spiritual, I connect with Islam. So it's kind of one and the same. So for
Okay.
me, I would say my religion is Islam.
Okay.
And I do connect with it.
Sure.
And I'm spiritual because if I was to think of a God, I would probably say Allah. That doesn't mean that I don't respect other religions. Of course not. I think Buddhism is very relatable.
Yeah.
And all religions. And there is one source of power.
Yeah.
So I do believe in that as well.
Yeah.
You can call him Allah, you can call him Ram, you call him what you would be comfortable with.
Yeah.
I would probably call him Allah. But there is actually that one energy source we all are connecting to.
Yeah.
So it's not really any different. When Amma and Abba got married, my mother, in fact, did convert to Islam
Okay.
and did guide us in Islam to perhaps not confuse us and to give us some sort of
Yeah.
grounding. So
Yeah.
there was no temple.
Okay.
There was no Hindu religion that we practiced. In fact, she taught me my faith and, gave me an understanding of Islam and,
Yeah.
Ramzan and
Yeah.
things like that. And then it was our choice
Yeah.
what we wanted to follow.
Sure.
And I think I, out of three of us, was very connected to my faith, and therefore I practice it.
Yeah.
So it's something I do, but it's not something I think my father or mother or anybody would have deliberately, or maybe deliberate is not the word, but would have
Imposed. Yeah.
exactly on any of us, because we've all traveled a lot, and he's
Yeah.
also studied here. He's played for Sussex. He's
Yeah,
lived
yeah.
in England.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was a Muslim, because yes, he was the Nawab of Pataudi,
Sure.
and I think that was what he projected and wanted. I mean, he took his responsibility seriously,
Yeah.
and he's in fact delegated me to follow in his footsteps in being a mutawali, which is another aspect of my life, which is a
Yes.
responsibility in Bhopal. So that is something that I think was something I just
Yeah.
vibed with.
Yeah, I read
But there
about
was
that, and I was
no-
actually going to ask you about, but glad you brought it up. And I think it's beautiful that your parents gave you that choice.
Yes.
But in a way, as you said, also sometimes when there are multiple religions being followed, it can be slightly confusing for kids.
Right.
So it's good that you were guided in a certain direction, and then beyond
Allowed
a
to
certain
choose,
point, yeah,
yes.
beyond a certain point, allowed
Like-
to choose.
As my family, as you know, like Bhai and Soha married into,
Yeah, yeah.
different
Interfaith marriages. Yeah.
marriages. So I don't think anybody is following anything very strictly.
Sure.
But I think faith is something that's very personal,
Yeah,
and it's not something that anybody can impose on anyone.
Yeah.
And it's your choice what you turn to.
Yeah.
You can even choose, turn to Buddhism if you wanted.
Yeah.
I have these really beautiful Buddhist wood paintings in my
Okay.
house, and I think just like spirituality encompasses a lot, and I think that's what works for everyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we shouldn't really get bogged down with religion.
For sure,
And
yeah.
lately, I don't think one should as well, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, you've beautifully answered that. And as you said, a lot of people who are in interfaith marriages or just simply living in India, because there's so many religions out there, tend to celebrate a lot of the Hindu festivals as well. So I think it's also a part of, when you have friends who you want to appreciate their culture and their festivals as well. And is that something you tend to do?
We've grown up celebrating Christmas,
Yeah.
Diwali,
Everything.
Holi, everything. That's what I'm saying. My parents, I
Yeah.
think, have never imposed any particular religion. And I think that's fair, and I think that's also something every parent should do with their child. They may be extremists, would probably tell me also that, that's not correct, because if they've seen me maybe wear something, or maybe puja mein kisi ne dhaga,
Yeah.
bandh diya, if anyone's, tied anything on my wrist,
Sure.
I think it's a blessing. So
Blessing, yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's not.
Yeah.
It's my faith is with me and my God, as
Yeah,
is
it's a
everyone
personal
else.
choice, yeah.
So I don't think anyone should
Yeah.
take that up too seriously in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you, what did you learn from watching the legendary Sharmila Tagore? Because, of course, for you, she was your mother, but for millions of people who were her fans, they saw her as this very strong, bold woman who made a lot of career choices, which at the time were not the norm. I mean, she was the first Indian actress to actually wear a bikini on screen.
Right.
And she wanted to do that,
Yeah.
right? So I think she was applauded and appreciated for her bold career moves at that time.
Right.
And was there anything that you noticed in her growing up? Because by that point, she was probably not doing movies when you were
It had
growing
slowed
up.
down while
It
we were
slowed
growing up,
down.
yeah.
But did you watch a lot of her movies?
I watched a lot of her
Yeah.
movies. I went to a lot of her sets while she was still working. Shashi Uncle was my favorite, because they did a lot of films together while,
Yeah.
Sanjeev Uncle was not there that much then.
Yeah.
And then he passed. So I didn't get to meet him. And neither did I meet, I have met Rajesh Khanna, but again, not on a set.
Yeah.
But with Shashi Uncle, I've been on many sets with
Yeah.
her. So, and Victor Banerjee in Mussoorie, I remember at some point. But it was fun, and she was very dedicated to her profession, and
Yeah.
she enjoyed it, which now my siblings do,
Sure.
as much as, Abba liked his cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the fact that my father was very understated and very humble, and he would joke in an airport when we'd be sitting and saying, "Look how the crowd, is going to go running to her for an autograph." And then they'd ask him for one as well. And I never
Sure.
realized what he was all about.
Yeah.
Till when we grew up to understand that not only was he as famous,
Yeah.
but he was, the youngest cricket captain of India, and he
Sure.
played in England and India, and he was no less famous than her in any aspect, including being a Nawab. So one grew up understanding how and what they were, in time. Of course, they were just parents for us when we were young.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed seeing her act, and like we would be treated as celebrity children. So we were, pampered and given, treats,
Sure,
and, kind
sure.
of had a great time on sets. And it was nice fun to watch her.
So tell me, what's the most valuable life lesson that your mother gave you?
Well, both my parents, like Amma used to always say, she said, take the best from both of us. So she, in an interview during Gulmohar,
Yeah.
one of her films, she has mentioned that Saif is a lot like me, and Soha is a lot like Tiger. But Saba, I think somebody asks her, like, what am I like? And she pauses and smiles. And she says she's, kind of a bit like the two of us,
Yeah.
like the both of us. And I smile because I'm watching this, on TV. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, because I did imbibe the best from both of them. I took her artistic, abilities, and to keep a good home and, keep a good table. And I loved my father for being so humble and very fair and very
Sure.
correct, and not losing his temper at all, and just, keeping it together. So I kind of imbibed both their personalities and also added my own.
Yeah.
And so I took the best from both of them, I think.
Yeah. And how would you describe your bond with your brother, Saif Ali Khan? Because he lived in England for many years when he was
Yeah,
studying
he did.
here. But then when he moved back to India, he started doing films at a very, very young age. So did you visit his sets in the 90s when he was like starting out?
Not his sets as much, but when he would be back from school and when we'd be here for our summer vacations, we'd be in Winchester or Locust Park,
Yeah.
where he studied. So we spent a lot of time growing up. And then at some point, he has pinched my T-shirt instead of
Okay.
my sister
Okay.
raiding my cupboard. And I'm asking my mother, I can't find my favorite Benetton blue shirt. And she's like, no wonder Saif is like wearing this tight blue shirt everywhere. And like, they were in England at that time, and
Yeah.
he pinched it. And then another funny story that he'd like, taken Rakhi money and given it back to me, saying, here,
Yeah.
I'm giving you like, $50. And it was out of my wallet. So we've had episodes together.
Okay.
And fond memories now when we look at it, of
Yeah,
course. So three of us have grown up together in many occasions. So it's not like we were separated. But when he moved to Bombay and started working is when we all started growing up and going our separate ways. Like college then started creating a distance in the, to being together. And then I would come back to Bombay to be with the children when, he got married and Sarah and
Sure,
Ibrahim
sure.
were small. So we spent a lot of time together, and we were there for each other all the time
Yeah.
as family. And at the same time, each one of us is quite independent and,
Yeah.
likes our own space.
Yeah.
So that's
that's
nice. It's a
lovely.
good balance, actually, because we respect that.
Yeah.
But if there's any crisis or if there's anything that's needed, we're there for each other for sure.
Yeah.
I can count on him. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. I
That's
know he has
lovely.
my back, and I know so does Soha.
Yeah.
And I do theirs. So that's a given. I don't think that's in doubt. with
That's such a
any of
beautiful
us.
bond that the three of you share as siblings. But, I wanted to ask you, Saif is someone who has reinvented himself so many times
Absolutely.
during his career. From being an actor in the 90s, he had a bit of a rough patch at that time when his films were not doing well, like most
Right.
actors do. But he then went on to becoming a producer and also becoming a father in every decade, the last four
he has.
decades. So, what is it that inspires you the most about Saif Ali Khan? Not just as your brother, but if let's say if you were not his sister, just as someone who's had an inspiring
Well,
journey.
it's difficult not as a sister
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say it, because as a sister, I'm so proud of him. He has,
Sure.
like you said, not only reinvented, he works hard, tremendously hard,
Yeah,
and just believes in his work and in anything he does. So he gives it 100%.
yeah,
And then you see that 100%.
Yeah.
The screen transforms, and he's a natural. Like I joke with Suha saying that, you know,
Yeah.
actually he's talented. Like she's got some very good films also, and,
Yes.
you know,
Tum
OTT
Mile.
platforms. Exactly.
I love that
But
one.
not all. Like
Yeah.
some of them I'm like, what were you
Rang De
thinking?
Basanti
You know?
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Bhai is talented. He
Yeah.
is a complete natural, and he was meant to be in cinema.
Yeah.
And he's also a very good father. He's a very good brother. He, you know, does his best. And I think if I didn't know him, which is hard because I do know him and I can,
Yeah.
you know, so therefore they're all sides. But I think what people have loved about him, which I would agree, is that he's very inspiring because you can
Yes.
see the hard work and you can see the dedication
sure.
and the charm. And he's just, you know, encompasses it all and very witty, very well read. So you can
Yeah.
sense that because of his upbringing in England and the kind of parenting that we've
Yeah.
had. We don't come from a complete, just an Indian family
Sure.
that has only access to the film fraternity. He's been brought up, which is why he loves to be in London as
Yeah.
much. He's got his friends here.
Yeah.
So, you know, that exposure brings a very different kind of
Upbringing.
So, therefore, the personality in each of us is quite the word
Unique.
unique and also very open minded.
Yeah.
You know, which allows us a lot of, like, our parents would never have read our letters
Okay.
or never have, you know, timed certain
had
things
your
with us.
privacy,
We had our
yeah.
privacy and we were trusted to do what was correct. We were given a deadline and we had to, you know, stick
Yeah.
with it.
Now, I wanted to ask you, so your family went through an extremely frightening and difficult time when Saif was attacked, which he recently spoke about for the first time here in London. But how did that experience change your perspective on family and gratitude?
I am somebody who's always been very grateful.
Yeah.
I feel that gratitude brings about a lot of blessings.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that changed for me. But what did shock us and scare us is that, you know, this incident has left us all reeling,
Yeah.
wondering how could it have, you know, just happened, of
Sure.
course. And he does talk about his experience, but he, mashallah, recovered, you know, his resilience was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think anybody else in his shoes would not have been out of the traumatic experience as fast.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somewhere deep down he isn't either. But he dealt with it very maturely, and
Yeah.
you know, it left us more in shock. I don't think I'm still over it. But it's amazing how the universe and God, thank
Yeah.
you, God, actually, that yes, you know, that he's well. But still not know, you
Yeah.
know, we don't know what happened
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. I mean, he
So,
must have shared, obviously, the exact details, or was it something he
No,
didn't
it's
really
as
want to
much
talk?
as he's
Yeah.
told everyone
Everyone,
publicly.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing not to know. There was enough
Yeah.
media,
Sure.
you know, kind of intrusive enough to also want
That's
to know what's
true.
going on.
That's true.
So nobody knows any different.
But I think at the time,
um,
there were more sort of rumors until he recently himself spoke about it. You know, when you hear it from the man himself, like they say, the horse's
Right.
mouth, whoever's been through
So
it.
he has explained it himself. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing I could add to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had definitely
Except that I
showed.
think he was very brave, and I
Very,
think
very
that in hindsight, you know, of course, we can always think about, like he himself says it, you know, I could have and should have done it in a certain way. But when you're protecting your family
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your instincts are to protect your son,
Yeah.
I don't think you do it differently.
Yeah,
you know,
sure,
so
sure.
I don't think at that point he did anything that he couldn't or shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, you know, he's okay.
I mean, he showed a lot of courage for sure. Now, I want to ask you. Of course, we've sort of touched upon your family background, but now moving towards women empowerment, because you come from a family where, you know, women have always spoken up, have had a strong voice, and that was not something which was common at that time when your mother was working in films. So, because you've had such powerful icons to look up to, from the Begums of Bhopal to your mother, Sharmila Tagore, what does female strength mean to you?
Well, to kind of not correct you, but
Yeah.
I feel that even in Amma's time,
yeah.
there was Shabana Azmi, there was Amma.
Sure.
You know, they were rule breakers and they were very strong women.
Yeah.
So we can't say that women empowerment has not happened during their time,
Sure.
because even in my grandmother's time, like Mutawalli was something that my grandmother and her grandmother, and you know, it's a women empowered position, with the exception of my father, because my grandmother gave it to him, and in fact, I think his sister had wanted the position, and she chose him. Now, that's nothing that one can do. If I choose, you're my, you're going to come after me. That's something that was her choice, and then he left it to me.
Okay.
So I think women empowerment has been there for decades and centuries.
But
it's
probably
not
less spoken
like
about.
even let's say the Queen.
Yeah, the Queen
so
of England.
we're living in a country that's run by a woman. Or used to
was,
be. Yes, sorry. Correction on that.
Yeah.
But exactly that. So, it's not something that is new. But I do feel that it's been maybe estimated in the past. And today there's more voice.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
People are more vocal. Obviously, it kind of because of social media and technology that we have the ability to do so. So things are changing, but it's not been devoid. Like it's always been there. It's just more prominent now.
So you feel women today are redefining success in a way?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure.
And tell me, what advice would you give young women who come from influential families like you, yourself, but they want to carve a niche and identity for themselves?
Well, the advice I would give everyone is stay humble and, respectful. Carve a niche, go out there, be bold. But your humility should not change. You cannot disrespect anyone. You shouldn't forget, because it boils down to manners and character. And I would say that to anybody who very recently also somebody was a little, not rude to me, but kind of crossed the line.
Yeah.
And I was like, that reflects on who you are.
Sure.
And that's not something I wasn't brought up to be, and I choose not to be.
Yeah.
It's not about my upbringing either, actually. As as adults, Bhai could probably react to something, so how could I choose not to.
Sure.
So it's a choice you will always make. At any given point. There'll be challenges, and everyone will face a challenge at any juncture where you'll be like maybe at a tube station and somebody's been rude to you, or somebody's just pushed you over. How you turn and respond or react is up to you. So I would advise people that don't lose that integrity, because it's not speaking volumes about anybody else. It's speaking volumes about who you are going to be in the future and how you're going to bring up your children.
And actually, not everything, as you rightly put it, not everything deserves a reaction
or
your attention.
Not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So
now, the idea of royalty has changed massively and probably dramatically in modern India. Now, when we talk about modern India, so it was very different back in the days when you were probably growing up. But today, what does being part of the Pataudi family look like? Like, do we expect, do people think like, okay, she's always hanging out at the palace in Bhopal and, sort of getting that royal treatment?
I don't think any Nawabs and anything, it doesn't exist today.
Yeah.
But it's nice when people do realize that, yes, there is a Khandani legacy. And, they respect us from having, the history that Abba created or comes from, rather. But no, I think it's all very quite modern and chilled right now.
So do you feel a responsibility?
But sorry, I know I'm interrupting, but
that's okay.
Because we've been brought up like that, it's really nice to see, my family, like, the kids, Bhai's kids, and so bringing up the children with the kind of upbringing we, were brought up with, the salam, or, the respect that the heritage kind of inbuilt within the framework of being a royal child.
That's another thing. Now that you brought up Saif's kids, I wanted to say, they've had immense media scrutiny, especially Taimur, in his early
which is
days
very
growing
unfortunate.
up. Yeah, very unfortunate. I don't think any celebrity or any father or mother wishes that. So obviously in India there is a pap culture where, anywhere you go, the paps are there, and especially nowadays, the celebrities, when their airport looks to be photographed, so often they call the paps themselves.
Right.
Of course, I don't think that would be the case for children, because I noticed, like, even your sister Soha, she doesn't like her daughter to be photographed, right? But do you think that somewhere, sometimes the Indian paparazzi doesn't know where to draw the line?
No, absolutely. And there was a point when I think they were chasing the car when Jay was very small, and I didn't like it at all. I put up a story saying, just, back off. You're scaring the child.
Yeah.
And that's totally unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I remember Bhai had said, thank you for, just kind of speaking up. But more than that, I agree. I don't think... See, I'm a fond aunt, so I love photography, as I said. So I would take pictures naturally. Till I also realized that, we are trying to protect the child, and we shouldn't be putting up so many pictures, because I do it out of fondness. If I have albums and scrapbooks forever, like if there was anyone with a camera, it was me just growing up with it. Yeah, so I've taken pictures of my parents, and so it's been my passion since forever. But unfortunately, the culture today does not respect the boundaries as much. And something more disturbing was this: I don't rely on AI. I rely on my mind. I don't have chat GBT at all on my phone right now, which is obviously everywhere, and everyone
is using it.
Using it constantly. And I'm like, okay, I have to still try it. I'm sure it has its advantages, and I will, maybe. Haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But with that being said, so when Ranveer and Deepika, kind of showed their daughter for the first time, one of the Diwalis or whenever they did, there were versions of AI taking up, different, like, she's posing like that, or
which is disrespectful.
Which was totally uncalled for, because that's, you'll come up with anything tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's unsafe.
True.
It's not correct. And because it's one thing to decide when you want your child to be seen. That's fine, respected, as Alia, and Ranveer did.
Yes.
But they didn't change the images of that child with the parents and take up different versions of it.
But I think
using AI.
Yeah.
So I think that was one step way too ahead, which was not at all allowed. Like, okay, the paps are, sometimes a little intrusive, or they're very curious, and it's their bread and butter. So, we can try to maybe understand it, though we don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But that's a different line that you're crossing. This was a complete extreme, because it was something that could be done on levels which would be, quite detrimental, frankly.
Yeah.
So
but I think,
agree
having
with
said that, the audience today is intelligent enough, at least most people are, to be able to distinguish between an AI-generated photo and a real one.
But unfortunately, much that you can differentiate, people are eager to see a picture. Or very, starstruck is the wrong word, but, kind of eager to see it.
Yeah.
So they don't realize what
And
they're
probably
doing
people who come
sometimes,
from
or what they're
older
encouraging.
generations, they probably can't always differentiate between an AI-generated and a real photo. But having...
I've had people come up to me and say, oh, we're a fan of Taimur.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, are you crazy?
I mean, he's a kid.
He's a kid.
Right? Yeah.
And that's before Jay was even born.
And
so
he's
you can
in
imagine,
school,
he's 4 or he's 5. How do you be a fan of a 2-year-old?
He does like being photographed now, though, right? Because maybe he's gotten used to it, so he waves at the paps.
He does.
Yeah,
he's polite. He's
politely,
not exactly, craving the media.
But he also protects Jay as an elder sibling.
Yes. They're, mashallah, both very good kids.
Yeah,
they're very, very good kids and very well behaved, and I'm very proud of them. So, but there's certain lines that should not
be crossed, for sure. Now, tell me, when life becomes overwhelming, what is it that brings you peace?
I paint. I do tarot. No, I don't do tarot to get peace. I paint, which I'm passionate about. I like seeing movies, and I like my space. I am somebody who's not an introvert, but I can be left alone and not crave the company of, people. I don't need to be in a crowd to, be happy.
Sure.
So, just walking in nature is very peaceful.
You love that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to do, this is now that segment where we're doing a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So we expect your answers to be, of course, honest, because in so far, whatever I've spoken to you, you seem like a very honest person. But a bit rapid and, a bit of
Okay.
fire in them. So, okay, one word to describe your mother, the legendary Sharmila Tagore.
Bold.
Bold, yeah, I would agree. One quality of your father, the late Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi, that you wish you had.
I imbibed a lot from him.
Yeah.
So it's not something, maybe cricket
Yeah.
talent.
Knowledge, okay, great. Describe Saif Ali Khan in 3 words.
Very diligent, hardworking, and kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like adventurous.
Okay, well done. So far, so good. Your sister Soha Ali Khan in 2 words.
She's a good mother.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of 2 words.
That's
actually.
a good mother. So that's 2
I know
words.
that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
she's,
Good. Okay.
she's very well read, and I mean, I
Yeah.
know it's not 2 words; it's more
Yeah,
like
it's
a paragraph
more-
right
yeah.
now. But she's intelligent,
Sure.
and intelligent in a very good way, where she applies herself and very practical.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
the sensitive one,
Yeah.
and she will always, kind of say up, just
She's very intelligent and she
be-
comes across very
yeah,
well
so she
put together.
kind of, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So her advice is very well sorted. Like it can,
Sure, sure.
it's
Who
good.
gives the best advice in the family?
I don't think anyone really gives good advice.
Oh, really?
We all like to kind of do our thing. I can
Do
say
your
I'm
own
very
thing.
protective and I give good
Acha.
advice, but no one listens.
Okay.
So that's not giving good advice and anyone's bothered.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose somebody, then I would say, yeah, Soha is very
Soha?
good with.
Okay. Because
you
she's
know,
more
when she can.
practical.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the funniest person in your family?
Funniest, well, nobody in particular.
No one is
not-
cracking jokes of.
I used to crack jokes like,
Okay.
on myself as well.
Yeah.
But nobody is hysterically funny. No. Maybe
Okay.
my father was.
Okay. Who's the most dramatic?
Again, this is hardly like I should be fired up and giving good answers. But dramatic, I'm sure my brother would die to say me, but not.
Yeah.
I could say him.
No. Okay.
But dramatic, I think everyone has a flair for drama.
yeah.
the,
In a
you know,
good
it-
way,
it's
maybe
a-
Karina. In a good way.
Karina is not dramatic. No.
No.
Actually, not. See, dramatic would be the wrong word. She's very
Entertaining.
Yeah, she's entertaining. She's very good with her job. She's fantastic. She knows exactly what she wants
Yeah.
to do. And what I love about her is she owns who she is. So when somebody else, like the media, is pulling her leg and calling her, anything that's not exactly a compliment,
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, so
So what?
so
It's
what?
fine. Yeah.
And somebody like that is very clear about who she is.
Yeah. Actually,
And
I
that's
love
very
about that
commendable.
about her. Yeah, yeah. Because she will post
Because-
no filter pictures of herself, and she owns it. And
exactly. And
people
you have
are
a lot
like,
of
she's.
respect for
Of course,
somebody
the
like that.
fans are like Bebo. That's what they fondly call her. And I mean, she's
No,
so
I
graceful.
respect her a lot because I think who
Yeah.
she is what she is. She doesn't pretend to be anyone
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
and that is what I think
Yeah. Sure.
is commendable.
Who's the best cook in the family?
Bhai is a very good cook.
Yeah.
I love to cook as well, but he's a very good cook.
What is it that he cooks that you love?
He used to, he used to make brownies as a kid, and
Nice.
he makes fish. And my father was a very good cook as
Okay.
well. He had his favorite dishes that he never shared with any of us. But Bhai is a good cook.
Yeah. Who takes the longest to get ready?
I don't know. I think they've got so good with getting
Yeah.
ready really quick.
Actors
But,
usually take longer,
yeah,
right?
I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
one of them.
Okay. Now, your favorite film of your mother, Sharmila?
Chupke Chupke.
Okay. Okay.
That's like a definite.
You've watched it many times?
Many times. It's comical. It's just an easy watch. They all did such a good job
Yeah.
in it. So one of my favorites.
And Aradhana moment of your mother that you love, or a particular scene?
Well, Aradhana and all her other films were so intense.
Yeah.
That it's just, you're crying and you're weeping.
Yeah.
So there's no moment in that film where I would say is like my best,
Yeah.
because the whole film is quite deep.
And Amar Prem?
But I don't remember snippets of them
Okay.
very clearly.
Yeah.
So I know Chupke Chupke is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And all the other films were very good films.
Yeah.
So they were very,
Sure.
hard to watch
Yeah.
sometimes.
What about favorite song of your brother's?
on the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. But Ole Ole was good fun.
Ole
And
Ole,
he's-
which
yeah,
got remade,
yeah,
and he's in the remake as well. So
yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's done very good films
Yeah.
with good songs. There might be many,
yeah.
but I'm
Is there
very
an
bad at remembering
underrated performance, a Saif Ali Khan performance, which from the 90s, which you felt perhaps was underrated?
You know, I can't remember all his films,
Yeah.
but I think he got a lot of good publicity, as in not
Yeah,
he appreciates
recognition.
recognition and appreciated for his roles, which were most of the films back then. Like I liked his Main Khiladi Tu Anari, and then of course most of
Yeah.
the film that he did. So nothing in particular.
Okay.
But I think when he went through a patch, like I've never seen that film of his, which was terrible.
Yeah.
Some comical thing that he did.
Yeah.
Hum Shakals, I think.
Hum
Was that
Shakals, yeah,
him?
yeah.
I haven't watched it, and I
Okay.
never planned to.
You
so
didn't
forget
want to watch it.
underrated. I don't know why he would have done it. I'm
Okay.
like, no chance.
So you
And
will
it's
say
something
to
that he
him,
may have done. So it's okay, part and parcel of like the journey. But he's done some fabulous work after that. Like the
yeah.
OTT platform,
For sure.
series has
Yeah.
been superb with Vikramaditya
yeah, yeah,
and Motwane
Yes.
and all his other, after that
Yeah.
has just been incredible pieces of work.
Yeah.
And of course, Jewel Thief.
yes,
And then the one before that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the work that he's done post the
Pandemic,
90s has
yeah.
been like just, I think is, Omkara, of course, was everyone's
Langda
favorite.
Tyagi, yeah.
Yeah, he was fabulous. And
Yeah.
also in the one with Ajay Devgan. I forget the name at the moment. With
Post that, because Ajay Devgan was
Ajay
also in
Devgan
Omkara.
and Bhai did one. No, which was a very, again a lot of Bahubali style film.
Oh yes,
With the I
think
can't think of
watched
the name.
that one.
Yes,
And Kajol was also in the
Kajol was
movie.
also
yes,
in it.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The name is just on
Yeah,
the tip
yeah.
of my tongue and I can't say it. But anyway, so I loved that.
Yeah.
So see, he's done great work. I don't think he's been
Yeah.
under.
And out of the rom-coms, Dil Chahta Hai or Hum Tum or Kal Ho Na Ho.
Dil Chahta Hai,
Yeah.
definitely.
Dil Chahta
And yeah, Hum Tum was also excellent.
Yeah.
They were all good. But Dil Chahta Hai is
Yeah.
my favorite. Now that you remind me. Yes,
Okay.
I'm forgetting
Hai. The names.
of
Okay,
the film.
Omkara or Parinita?
Parin,
Love Ajkal or Cocktail?
both.
Both. Okay.
Race was also excellent.
Race, yes, for sure. Which Saif character would you want to meet in real life? If there was a character,
None.
none.
I don't think.
Okay.
None in the sense of rom-com ones, perhaps.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. So, I mean, I'm not into, like, dudes,
Yeah.
kind of, like, very adventurous sorts of people. I think I'm a little
Yeah.
low-keyed. So
One word to
probably-
describe Karina.
Very conscientious and just, like I said, I love that she owns who she is.
Yeah, yeah.
She's very straightforward and she's just very supportive. And she's been very kind to me.
Yeah.
So,
Who do you think has the best style in the family, the most stylish?
Ocarina,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Who's the most punctual in the family?
Punctuality, I think maybe I am, and Amma,
Okay, yeah,
my mother
sure.
and I.
Sure. The biggest foodie?
Definitely the Kapoor family,
The Kapoor,
I'm sure.
yeah.
And
You-
Kunal.
Yeah. And
How
you
could I
watched
miss out
Dining with the
Kunal?
Kapoors?
I loved
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
I loved it. He did
Yeah.
a fabulous job.
Yeah. Do you think, of course, the
Kunal
answer...
is also a foodie, by the way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot
I've
that.
seen some
Yeah.
of the vlogs. Do you think that Saif and Karina also make a great on-screen couple?
They do.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do.
So Tashan and
Yes, I think. Like, I felt
Agent
bad
Vinod.
in Tashan because, in fact, like,
Yeah.
Akshay, I think, gets
Akshay
the
was
girl.
in
And
it,
I was
yeah.
like, my brother should have gotten the girl.
yeah, but
I mean,
that's
not
where
that-
that's
that's where
where
the
the
character didn't-
romance sort of
yeah.
sparked on the set.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. A tradition from your family that you hope never disappears.
Well, being together on occasions of festivals,
Yeah.
and we make it a point to meet Christmas, Easter, Eid, Diwali. So I think that's something that we've always done together, and I hope
Sure.
that does continue. And birthdays as much as we can. Birthdays
Yeah,
sometimes.
celebrations.
Exactly, celebrations.
A woman you admire outside of your family.
I admire, I love, not just because I saw Neha Dhupia's film,
Okay.
but I think she's just made herself. She's
Yeah,
a self-made
self-made,
woman
yeah.
who's just, I love her when she's on stage
Yeah.
and she compares these shows.
Yeah.
And yesterday's film is just phenomenal. You have to see her
Yes, I will.
to know that it's like she didn't need to be glamorous. She didn't need to have the makeup on. And the director has really given her a platform where she's just needed her expression.
Yeah.
And it says it all. So I think she's somebody who's just come a long way herself. So I admire any woman who is just been self-made. Like even Kajol is somebody who I think is very talented.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so these are women. Shushmita Sen.
Yes.
You know,
love her. Yeah.
These are people you just PC. I mean, Priyanka Chopra.
Priyanka, yeah.
She's, you know,
in Hollywood
left.
now.
She's done it. She's making her mark.
Yeah.
She's, you know, with UNICEF.
Yes.
They're strong women, empowered, and real.
Yeah.
And somebody else also just came to mind just now. Shifali Shah.
Yes.
I
for sure.
totally adore her. She's just incredible.
She's just a powerhouse performer.
Completely. Yeah. And there's Richa as well.
Richa
so these
Chadda.
Are women who are just who they are.
Yeah.
And you can't not
for
you know, take a double take. And there are many probably like her. Like even a Taapsee Pannu.
Yeah.
You know, these are just, they're not just, they haven't been handed over, you know, silver platter, and they've just,
they're not
they made
from
it
the
on
industry,
their own.
so yeah.
They made it on their own and they're making it on their own.
What's your definition of true luxury?
Well, the Taurian in me will always want a little bit of luxury.
Yeah.
So there is comfort levels. I need a clean place.
Sure.
I cannot take, you know, a messy place.
Yeah.
But luxury, yes, like in the sense of, you know, tidy and comfort oriented.
Now, quick ones, this or that. So, ye ya wo. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Books or movies?
Movies.
Jewelry or fashion?
Jewelry.
Vintage or contemporary?
Vintage.
Okay. A city that feels like home. I think we know that.
London.
London for sure.
Now and California. Carlsbad is
California.
Home, away from home.
What's your favorite travel memory?
My travel memories are a lot, like I think Amma and I did a lot of adventure trips to Toronto and to Africa.
Yeah.
You know, like we've taken a lot of our own trips together.
You've bonded a lot.
Bonded a lot on many, many, many occasions. So that's been wonderful.
One item that we can always find or we know is always in Saba's handbag.
My phone, I suppose.
Okay, yeah. Your comfort food.
My comfort food used to be chaat.
Okay.
But now at the moment is popcorn and cheesecake.
Okay, nice.
Don't ask me why though. Completely different.
And what about your guilty pleasure?
With that, wouldn't it be cake?
Cake? Okay. Yeah. So you have a sweet tooth. A song that instantly lifts your mood.
The 70s. Nice. You know, the songs of my parents like Amol Palekar.
Yeah.
Songs are just amazing, and my mother's songs.
Yeah. Film you can watch again and again.
Well, I can with Chupke Chupke, with Amma's film, with Bhai's films also, like the Main Khiladi Tu Anari type.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Dil Chahta Hai, as you had mentioned, and Soha's films also, which are like, you know, on the lighter side.
Now, if your life was a movie, what would its title be?
That's a good one. I can't. Why don't you suggest something?
I mean, I think from whatever I've known of you, interacting with you, I think you give a very posh vibe and, you know, the royal heritage and all that. So I don't know. But are you a romantic though?
I'm a romantic, but I'm very real and I'm a little like no filter, say it straight up, which not many people can
But that's
take.
a good quality to have.
Yeah, I do believe so. Not many may agree with you, but I also feel I can keep it real and I prefer to keep it real with anybody.
So maybe bindas or
bindas
not?
would be probably nice.
Okay. Yeah. Who in the family is the most glued to their phone?
I think all of Soha could be because they're on their phone checking
Instagram
constantly, though they'll deny it, but everyone's doing it all the time. Like I do not need to pick up my phone all the time.
You're not that active on Instagram.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not just Instagram. I like my me time.
Yeah.
And then I'll check my phone when I can check it.
Yeah.
I'm not on it unless I need to be on it.
Yeah. One thing about your mother that makes you laugh.
Well,
in a good way,
laugh.
She makes you laugh.
She is a very strict person,
okay.
So I will not be laughing.
So you
at
draw
a lot
the line,
No, there was no laughing on many things, but she's very funny when she's forgetting something. Like
Yeah.
she changed. So as
Okay.
she got older, she started changing names. So Mohit would have been like, okay, so Mandeep,
Acha.
when are we meeting? And I'd
Okay.
say, so when I sometimes by default do that, I say,
Yeah.
oh God, I'm doing an amma. So that makes me laugh actually. And another, like when she used to wear her glasses to read something. And I didn't need glasses
Yeah.
back then. And I'm like, what is this? Why are you
Yeah.
like straining to read? Till I got
Okay.
glasses. And I'm like,
Nice.
now I know what that
Okay.
feels like when
Yeah.
everything blurs and you have
Yeah.
to wear your glasses.
And lastly, complete the sentence. Being a Pataudi means?
Honest, sincere, good-hearted,
Nice.
real.
Nice. Well, I just have one last question for you. It's been a very insightful conversation, and I've really enjoyed speaking to you.
Likewise, your questions were very well formed.
Thank you.
Nice and thoughtful.
I just want to ask you, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind as Sabali Khan Pataudi?
Well, I would like to be known for my craft in terms of jewelry designing
Yeah.
or anything I do, or as even as a mutawalli, which is a challenging position sometimes
Yeah.
because the world has changed,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
politics is tough to handle. I'm not
Yeah.
somebody who's equipped to handle it at
Yeah.
all. My father was, in his time things were simpler.
Yeah.
But I would just like to be remembered as me, who
Mm-hmm.
I think is just an honest and humble person who doesn't
That's
want
great.
too much of anything, no drama, nothing fancy.
Yeah. Amazing.
Just,
Well, thank you
being me.
so much for joining us today on Big
Thank
Bollywood
you.
Buffs.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you back in London very soon.
Hi, I'm Saba Pataudi. You are watching me on Big Bollywood Buffs. Please like, subscribe, and share.